Okay, hello everyone, I'm Jiun and welcome to my channel Libreoffice. Today I come with a different video. I want to share with you the file, kind of an Excel file, where I write down all the books I have read within the last almost, I think, 10 years. And this is, yeah, it's a file in Excel, but actually it's not Excel because I had a problem with the program and I have to download another, a similar program called Libreoffice, which is free. You can download, and it's similar to Excel. There is another version which is similar to Word and to PowerPoint, etc. So anyway, this file is the one I used to write down all the books I read, and well, it all goes back to 2013, where I discovered BookTube and Goodreads, and yeah, I fell obsessed with Goodreads. I created an account, and I was adding all the books I was reading, and I was so happy with that until I think it was 2021 when I created Libreoffice channel, where I decided to create another account specifically for the channel. But then I thought, how can I do it? Because if I was reading one book, and then do I have to add it in both, or just one, or how? So at the end I decided to give up my first account, and I was adding some books in Libreoffice account. Most of them were science fiction and Discworld books. So I decided to yeah, there's always a motorcycle anyway. I decided to actually stop using Goodreads, but then I need to have an account of all the books I have read anyway. So I created this file and I want to share it with you. So as you can see, I always use colors. I like using colors to make a difference between different, in this case, different names. So, well, let's start with this. Total. This is the, here I have the total amount of books that I have read all these years. So I started in 2013. So all the information that I used to have in Goodreads, I have to check book per book, and then I transfer all that information to this file. So I started in 2013, reading. So that year I read 29 books. Then next year, 2014 or 2014, I read 89 books. I think I read a bit more than 90. I don't know why the number was a bit less, but anyway, that's the total amount of books that I have read all of this year. And I started this file, or I created this file on 2021, where I read 71 books, and that's why I have a line here. So from then I know that I have the total amount of books from this year. So okay, I will try to explain because maybe it can be a bit messy. So I started in 2021. In this part, I wrote the series that I wanted to read. In this part, I wrote the standalone books. So in that way, I know which book I'm reading every month. And in this case, for instance, I was reading Sherlock Holmes. And in January of 2021, I was reading book number 6 of that series. That it was total of 9 books. So this year I just read 4 books, because the previous one I read them in 2020, and so on. So in that way I know how many books I read per month and which are the books, the number of the book in the series. So that's it. And you can see this world that year I read 22 books, right? Starting in the book 12. And at the end of the year, there were 1, 2, 3, 4 months that I didn't read any book of this world. And here I had some standalones, starting, for instance, with Saturn. I think I made a video about Saturn by Ben Bova. It's in the channel, which is a science fiction book, and very good, actually, very, very good book. And I read it in April. So why the color green? Because I just marked green when I have finished reading the book. So imagine that, I don't know, Hyperion is 6, 7 books. So maybe if they don't have the green color, it means that I haven't read them yet. And so this is automatically. I think when I change this number 71, it will change here immediately, and then I can count the total and I see if I'm correct or not. And lately I added this, which I will show you here, in 2022. So for instance, this here is called Fable Heaven, and this word I just continue reading it from the previous year. So, and I added these 3 categories, which is Ultramar. Ultramar is a science fiction series. So for instance, in June I read 2 books that belong to that series. Then I have the SF Masterworks. For instance, in February I read Doomsday book, right? And that's why I mark the colors. So in that way I see that I have done very poorly in reading Ultramar science fiction books, right? I just read 2. And I added manga, which is a kind of comic, if you know, from Japan. So I was reading, in this case, Fairy Tail. Now you might see that there are some books, if you see here, that there are many books actually that I don't upload to the channels. And the reason why, you might guess, and I even made a video about that, there are some books coming from what I call the dark side of the universe. Actually, it's supposed to be the dark side of the Force, if you're a fan of Star Wars. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So that's why I cannot talk about every book I read in the channel. I'm just showing you here, but yeah, you know why. That's the reason. And in 2023 I continue reading. As you can see, I plan to read books from Star Wars. I have read kind of, and I have read few books actually, and well, there is a reason for that I have said before. And yeah, as you can see here, I haven't read these books yet. This is not 100% sure. It doesn't mean that just because it's here I will read it this month. In this case I didn't read it, and probably I won't read it in August either. This is just a way for me to know which books I still need to read or I plan to read, but it doesn't mean that it's for sure. So yeah, this can change anytime. So by now I have read 46 books, but well, 33 belong to manga, so I don't know if it counts. I make it count. And for a long time I was doubting if adding this or not, but at the end it's like, it doesn't matter. This is my file and it's for me only, so I just can write. I can add whatever I feel adding, and it doesn't have to be like so exact or so precise. So this is the series I was planning to read this year, and these are the standalones that I have read until now. So this is the total of the quantity of books that I have read within this year. Well, every year, that's the point of this file. Then I have series. These are a list of series that I want to read, but of course this will take me years. So I started, I think, in 82, a total of 82 trilogies and series that I would love to read, and I finished this kind of list in September. I closed it. I said no more. I don't want to add more series. I mean, there are hundreds of series out there that I would love to read, but I think no, this is enough. I will just focus on this series first, and if I reach 49 then I can add more series, or if I feel that I don't want to read a series, then I can erase it. It's okay. It doesn't have to be 100% sure. So these are series that I want to read. For instance, I want to read the Stormlight Archive. I don't know how to pronounce that. I have read this book, but I read it 8 years ago. So in here I write the name of the book, the name of the author, and the date when I finished the book. This was November the 7th in 2015, like, yeah, long ago. So, and if you see, I add some colors, and the colors have to do with the not the quality, but instead of giving stars or numbers or a mark, I just give a color. So green for me, it's the best book. It's like a book that I would reread in the future. Awesome book that I would recommend. One of my favorite books. Blue, which is the case of Neuromancer, was a very good book, but I don't plan to reread it again. So I just use that color in some way. And I have other series. Well, I have a list of series like Shannara. But Shannara is, let me see. Oof, okay, it's a series of 38 books in this series. That will take me a long time if I start this series someday. I don't know when. So I have many. I would like to read Shogun and all the series. What else for here? Ender Games. I read this long ago. And well, Outlander. I have 3 books. I think this one, and this one. But of course, if I don't have the first 2, it's hard to start the series. Yeah, so it's a long series. I mean, it's a long list of different trilogies and series that I would love to read in the future. So yeah, that's it. Then I have I wrote alone, but it's the standalones. These are books that don't belong to any series. So for instance, this year I started reading. I started this year reading Watership Down, and I finished it in June of this year. So green color, amazing book. Blue, good book. Anathem, not so good actually, and I think red color is like very bad book. So I have a list of all the books that I have read since 2013. For instance, here I wrote I didn't like this book. You know the book, right? And I didn't like it because of the theme. If you have read it, you will know the ending, and you will know why I didn't like it. So yeah, I have a list of books, long list of books that I have read within all of these years. Great books, amazing books, some okay books and very bad books. Like this one, it's not a bad book, but I didn't enjoy it at all. it didn't make sense, in other words. So this is the list then for books that are standalones, right? Then I have a list of manga that I would like to read. I already read Fairy Tail. I cannot talk too much about this series because, you know, the dark side of the universe, but it's for my own entertainment anyway. So, and I have a list of other manga that I'm interested in. I don't know if one day I will read them all, but they are there. And then, as you can see here in blue, I have a list of books that I would love to read. Ultramar is the first one, which is Spanish and all list of science fiction books. It's a collection of books actually, and it's how long? It's 124 books, or a bit less, because I don't know, for some reason I cannot find this one. So in green, in this color, is not the grade I gave to this book, how good they were. No, it's just to say that I read it, because this, it's, I mean, how good or bad is a book, I added here in the series, right? For instance, let's see, I read long ago the Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, so I like it, green color. The same in standalones, but in this case I just put green because I read it, so in that way I know that I have read it, right? And this, it's because I have read it, but I would like to reread it, I think. Yeah, so there are still many books that I haven't read, and I would like to continue reading. Then I have the whole list of Hugo and Nebula. Let me see if I can put it. Yeah, Nebula Award. So as you can see, in 1956, Double Star by Robert Heinlein was the winner, right, of Hugo Award, and then these are the nominees. And in green color, I think, are the books that I have read, and in blue, the blue is the ones that I cannot find in some way. They are not in the library, or it's hard to find them. You know what I mean. So in green color are the books that I have read, and as you can see, yeah, I mean, it's it's a long way to finish this. And then I have both, right? The Hugo and Nebula Award, right? Hugo and Nebula Award. But this list is until 2020. I mean, it's not updated, and I don't plan to update it because my goal is to read at least all the books, but just until 2000. So in 2020, because it's the year that I created this channel, I mean the file, so I was thinking, okay, until the previous year. And then after that I have the SF Masterwork collection. The whole list, well, it's not updated, by the way, so it's just 184 books, but in here you can find the complete list. This list, yeah, so I would like to read all of these books too. In green color are the books that I have read already, and yeah, this is another long list. But here, the 100, this is this challenge. I wrote all the books in this list of hundreds of books. Well, it started as hundreds, but then it became more. This is a list of books that Moy from Media Death Cult created. This is the link, actually, if you want to check it, with 100 books. So yeah, it's a long list of books. But then next year he created another list of 100 books. I just added the ones that are not repeated, right? So in total it will be 124, right? So for this list, this is the link if you want to check it. and in green color are the books that I have read. So yeah, I still have to read a lot. Then I have the list that the channel Fit to Be Read created. I think it was actually it was even longer. This was 150 books. Yeah, and in green the ones I have read. Then this is a list of books that I found. They belong to they are in a book actually. In it's a list called 100 must-read science fiction books by Stephen E. Andrews, I think, and Nick Rennison. And well, it's a challenge, right? Of 100 books, and the same, right? All of the books in that list, if you want to check. But I have read only 19 on this list. Then, if you check Goodreads, there is a list also of the most popular 100 most popular science fiction books. Again, the same, right? And I think I have read 29 books, so I'm a good. I'm doing better, I think, in this list. Then I have another list of 100 books. Here's the list, but this list has changed. It's not the same as the moment I wrote it down, so it's a bit different. But I'm not going to update it. I will just leave this list, and from this list I have read 31 books. I think this is the best, where I'm doing the best. Then Fit to Be Read created another list, but this time I think it was 200 something books, right? So here's the link if you want to check it. Yeah, 210, and I hope I have wrote all the books, the name of the books correctly. But yeah, it's a long list. So if you want to check it, there is the link, or go to his channel, right? And finally, I got interested in reading a bit more of cyberpunk books. So here's another list of cyberpunk books. And the funny thing, I have read few. I have read Otherland, excellent book. I have read When Gravity Fails, which is the first book in a trilogy. Good, very good. And well, Ready Player One, Acelerando, and To Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, and Neuromancer. The funny thing that even if I am interested in this category, not all the books I have read are great, or at least for me. So these are all the list that I have as challenge to read in the future. Then I have my TBR, in which I am ordering the books that I would like to read, separating long series science fiction and long series fantasy, and then trilogies and standalones, and manga, which is optional. It's not that I'm forcing myself to read manga, but it's there in case I want to read. So now in 2023, I was planning to read more books of Star Wars, Malazan, and other series like Brave World and Starship Trooper, which is a book that I just started reading. Then these are next, in some way, books that I would like to read next. And then possibilities, which I have many. I can read all books from all of these. But again, this is not rigid. It's not like I have to read them 100% sure. It can change. Sometimes I'm moving this. I feel like I don't want to read this and I move it away. But at least it gives me an idea of the books that I can read. And then I have to be continue books that I have read or series that I have started and I would like to continue reading. That's it. So in here I have the color. I mean, how can I say the how I understand colors, right? So blue for this case, okay, for here only, is science fiction, green fantasy, classic, manga, romance. Outlander, I think it's kind of science fiction more than romance, or romance. I don't know. I just consider it like romance. And then when I am evaluating the books, I give green color when it's an amazing or a book that I want to reread. Blue if I consider it's a good book that I have enjoyed, but not more than that. This orange, or yeah, kind of orange, is a book that is okay, just okay, not that great, and that actually I can forget. And red are books that are bad or that I just didn't enjoy. So, and well, these are the genres of book type of books that I would like to read, like cyberpunk, space opera. I like books about robots, maybe steampunk, but I'm not sure about that. I like epic fantasy, well, and so on. And then I have a list of DAW book. I don't know if it's a collection book or it's the name of the publisher. But the books, if you have one of these books, you will notice that they have a number. So let's say this book spell. This book has number 1, right? So if you check another book, for instance, I don't know, The Transition, it's book number 151. So it's a long list. It has it has 1844. So it's a lot. I'm not planning to read all of these books. I just copied the series, the list, because I thought it was interesting. And to have an idea, maybe one of these books are interesting. I just have 2 books only, which are the from Otherland series, right? No, actually, you have 3. Book number 1, 2, and 3 of the Otherland series by Tad Williams. So if I check this book, Mountain of Black Glass, you will see that it has a number, and the number is 1129. So I think this is for collectors, and I'm not sure. I think this is not the final. How can I say? The final number. There must be more, but I just copied it. Okay, just to have an idea of the. And I think here's the link. Yeah, if you want to check the whole list. Then I have a series that are finished. These are series that I have finished, or they have finished most of the books within the series, so I don't plan to read the other books. So I'm done with it. For it, in the case of Hyperion, I read Hyperion, and I read it one time. I don't know why Goodreads didn't mark that date, so I just would put an exclamation mark. And then I read it in 2015, I read it again in 2019, and in November of 2020. So yeah, so I have an idea how many times I have read the book within the series. And well, these are the books like Harry Potter, they are already like 10 years ago. In this case, for instance, this series, I have these 2 books. but I couldn't find this one. I haven't been able to get it anywhere. It's like I bought it as a second hand actually. I bought this actually, and by chance I found this one, the second one, but I have never found the first one, so I just put that color, and I'm not planning to get it. I'm not planning to read it by now, so it's a series that I have finished, and this color is because it's not complete. That's all. So yeah, these are all the series that I have finished, like Otherland, amazing series. Yeah, all the series that I have read. You can see here the Blossom Street, the Debbie Macomber books that I enjoyed a lot. But there are books like this. I don't know what happened, why they're supposed to be in that position. Well, anyway, I haven't found this book, and even if I find them now, I don't want to buy them anymore. It's like I have bought too many of Debbie Macomber. I'm okay for now with romance. So yeah, so this world, a long series. So as you can see, there are books that were excellent, like Riverman, but moving picture was kind of okay only, and I think there is just one that is like bad. I don't know. These books are extra, by the way, so I didn't read them. Yeah, that's the whole series. And the last series I read was the Novel Warrior trilogy that started very good but ended kind of bad. So that's all the series that I have finished. Then I have a whole list of, the complete list of all the books of the Star Wars. If you are a fan of Star Wars, you will know this. These are in chronological order, so if you want to read them, you can read them following this order, right? So it's a long list. It has 160 books in the series, and well, it's another, yeah, that's another motorcycle. It's another list of books that I would like to read. I don't know if I can finish them all, but yeah, it's just in the bucket list. Then I have genres, like Russian literature that I would like to read, fantasy, and what is the other one? Science fiction. Some extra books that I have read, and so that's it. Religious are books that I would like to read, but I haven't read them yet, so that's it. And then I have a list of the books I have bought, when I bought them, and the price, just to have an idea of how much I have spent. And because they are all second-hand books, I noticed that I have saved a lot of money. For instance, this book, The City of the Golden Shadow by Doug Williams, was second-hand book, and I bought it for 15 pesos, which is kind of like 20 cents. And in Australia, well, at least that's the price that appears in the book, cost $15 in those days. I don't know now, so it was very cheap. And that's it. I used to have a list of links to that's it. So that's my whole file. If you want to have an idea, so if you want to create something similar, maybe not that with too many things, right? I just add or erase some things, but I like having all my books, all the books I have read in order to remember when I read them, and to know which are the books that I want to read too. So that's it for now, before the dogs continue barking louder. And I hope you like the video. It was a bit long, I think, yeah. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye to the dogs too. Bye bye.